Hello, in this video we're going to talk a little bit about how this course is going to work. So right now the current situation we face is very complex, right? It's not clear because of COVID-19 what tomorrow will be like, what next week will be like, even what a month from now will be like. And we're trying to figure out ways as an institution how Lander University can help our students succeed while still keeping them as safe as possible. So it's very complex. So in particular, we have to accommodate students and professors who may fall ill or have to quarantine, right? That's one situation we have to deal with. You may get sick. You may be exposed to someone with COVID-19, have to quarantine, or the same may happen to me. What do we do in that kind of situation? At the same time, we want to provide students with as normal a college education as possible. So that's make things even more complex. And to a normal college experience, face-to-face instruction is central, right? Face-to-face instruction is very important. And at the same time, because we want people to be able to not come to class if they feel sick or if they're quarantined, right, but still feel like they're a part of the class, we also want to develop the ability for students to observe or participate in a course live from outside the classroom. That functionality is being developed in multiple classrooms. I believe they're wanting to do it in every Lander classroom. I hope that will work out and that we'll be able to use that technology. I'm not sure if that is necessarily going to work for this class. I hope it does. And we also need to make it so students can catch up easily if they cannot attend class either in person or virtually, right? So you may catch COVID-19 and be really sick and not even feel up to sitting up at a computer screen. Well, how do we catch you up? Right. So we have to figure out a way to have a normal college experience as much as possible, while respecting the reality that some people might not be able to attend class and might not be able to attend class for a long time. And the problem is this can easily lead to just missing class and falling behind. Right. That's the thing. It would be very tempting for me just to say, okay, well, come to class if you can. If you can't, don't worry about it. It's cool. Or, yeah, I'll just record it and then you can just listen to it. But the problem is, just with the way we human beings are, most of the time people just won't listen to the recording or whatever I have unless there's some kind of structure. So the way I'm dealing with this is in this class, there'll be a participation grade. And basically, that's going to be based on classroom attendance, or attending virtually, or completing an assignment based on something related to what we did when we met in class. So there's a participation grade, so that way I can kind of monitor and make sure that people are engaged in the class. And you can complete that participation grade either by coming to class if you feel fine and you're not needing to quarantine, or if you can come in virtually, if that's an option, and I hope it will be, or you can just complete an assignment. As long as you do one of those three things, that will fulfill your participation grade. So that way I have a way to make sure that we respect everyone's different situations, while at the same time making sure that people stay engaged with the class. So how am I going to deal with this situation, right? This very complex situation. So one thing to note is that, at least at the time of making of this video, is that Lander is requiring that people wear masks, and we're also requiring social distancing. So one thing that's weird about COVID-19 is that it's just really random, it seems, how it affects people. So I have one relative who got COVID-19, was completely asymptomatic, felt great, no problems at all. I have a friend who got it and is currently in the ICU, right? He's in the intensive care unit. In his case, he was a jogger, very healthy person, but he was also asthmatic, and it got into his lungs. So it's really odd how this disease behaves. It can be completely innocuous, not even as bad as the flu, or it can be really, really terrible and kill you. And we have to note that people have different experiences and different situations. For some people, it's not a big deal. For others, it is a big deal. I had a student whose mother has cancer and is on immunosuppressant drugs. So it makes her immune system weak. So if she gets COVID, it's going to be very hard for her to deal with it. This is a picture of my family. Our two sons, my wife's not in this picture, my mother and my father, they're both in the 70s. My mother has congestive heart failure. So if they were to get COVID-19, it would be very difficult for them to recover. So it is important to follow these rules, please, for the respect of everyone. Yeah, we should just follow that. And that will be something I'll be working on enforcing. Now, one way to kind of deal with this is to make it so that we can have more safer face-to-face classes is the class is being divided into two parts. So there'll be a group A and a group B, right? Group A will meet on Mondays. Group B will meet on Wednesdays, right? Group A meets on Mondays. Group B meets on Wednesdays. I will assign you to a group. So later on, I will send an email and say, this is group A. So I'll send another email, this is group B. And you can't go back and forth. You can't say, well, I couldn't come to class Monday, so I'm going to come to class on Wednesday. No, that's not how you would do things. Now, I don't want to just dictate this without giving people a chance to have some kind of say. So if you contact me by August 9th, if you have a preference on whether you're assigned to Monday or Wednesday, I'll do my best to meet your preference. I can't guarantee it because I got to keep the sections even. But if you contact me by August 9th, if you have a preference, I will attempt to follow that preference. Right? I'll do my best to meet it. So when we do meet, the class meeting will be focused on discussion that will build on the online videos and readings. Right? That's what the class meeting will be like. Every week, a response paper will be due based on the videos, every week a response paper will be due, which will be filled out using information gained from online videos, right? So you watch the videos and you do the readings, you fill out a response paper. So if you were to go to the Blackboard site, which should be open, you would see something like this, right? It has the book review assignments, final paper assignments, final paper materials, and then these links right here. If you were to click on the book review assignments, you would see this. You are assigned a book that you're going to write a book review on, so you want to make sure to purchase this book called Introduction to Disease and the Modern World. It's just called Disease in the Modern World. I have scanned and uploaded the introduction that will allow you to complete the book review assignment 1. Right? You would get the book review assignment 1 by clicking this. That will allow you to save the document, open and then save the document, and then you would upload it by clicking on this link. But that's key to think about. Right? So you click on this, Introduction to Disease in the Modern World, that'll give you the PDF. As an aside, if you cannot open the PDF, I would encourage you to try Chrome or Firefox. 9 times out of 10, when a student can't open a PDF from Blackboard, that's the reason. And it's random. Sometimes you can open a PDF, sometimes you can't. I don't know why. It's just they have that problem. But that's something to keep in mind. But you can go ahead and start getting started on this assignment if you want to. And if you were to go to the week 1 response paper materials, you would see this. There's response paper 1. Remember, that's the link where you would upload the assignment. There is the response paper file. You would open that and save it. And that has the questions. So for example, answer the following questions based on the Introduction to History 201 video. So you would click on this and boom, you would get the 201 video. Answer the following questions based on the early Chinese historiography video. You click on this, you get that information. Makes things easier. Here's the PDFs that you would read. Castration is the Price of Writing History. What a great reading to start off with. It actually is a good reading, but kind of difficult. But like I said, you can see here week 1, Monday group A meets, Wednesday group B meets. Okay, fairly clear. But notice there's no advantage to being in a particular group. The assignments are due at the same time for each group, so it doesn't help you to be group A or B in terms of when assignments are due. Now do notice that there are assignments due Thursday of the first week and then on Monday of the second week. So it's not a bad idea to go ahead and get started. And that's one reason I'm making this video and sending it. I've mentioned this to people before. But, go ahead and get started so you're not rushed later. So I do need to talk a little bit about the principles behind this course, right? How this, I was thinking when I developed this course. So the idea is that it approximates an in-person version of the class in terms of the amount of work expected each week. So there's an in-person class would normally meet 3 hours each week. And and I have hours in quotation marks because an hour is 50 minutes by college counting. So basically you meet once a week, right? If you're group A, you meet once. If you're group B, you meet once a week. So that means that approximately 2 hours will be online lecture. That's about 100 minutes. And then the 1 hour where we meet. Now I say approximately, some weeks we may have more than that. Some weeks we may have less. It just depends on the topic. There are no quizzes or exams. Instead, you'll be focusing on what we call deliverable products. These are things like papers. There's a lot of writing in this class. This is a skills-based class. So while I'm interested in that you learn stuff, the skills are what's more important. So that's why there's no quizzes or exams. I want you to focus on your writing and your reading and your research and critical thinking and all those things. And one thing I want to stress, with a skills-based class, it really is you get what you put into it. This is one reason why this is a difficult adjustment. Some people are just really smart and they're not used to having to put in much work. And this class requires that they put in work and they just aren't sure how to deal with it because they're used to work being easy. But the fact is, the more you put in this class, the more you'll get out of it. So a few more comments just to explain a little bit more about this class and my theory. I believe in the value of history. This is a class that is aimed at history majors. So, I think just by being a history major, you must think that history is important. So I believe in the value of history. I hope you do too. And I want my students to learn history and the skills necessary to succeed in whatever career that they want to pursue. To do that, I have to have standards, right? I have to have clear standards. I have to have rules. For example, I don't accept response papers emailed to me. That's really confusing to have some papers here and some papers there. It takes my time. You need to learn how to upload a paper on Blackboard if you don't know how to do that. And if you have a technical problem doing that, you need to figure out how to resolve that problem. So it's important that, I have standards. Why? The job market is competitive. If your boss says, I need these files this way, and you give it to him or her in a different way, your boss is not going to be happy. If you make your boss unhappy enough, you won't get promoted. You may get demoted. You may get fired. And we're in a situation, like I said, where things are very complex. But the job market is competitive. So if you learn to do good work while facing difficulties, you're more likely to get a good job and be promoted, right? We always have excuses when things are hard not to do our work. And the problem is, if I just accept that, it's not really helping you. How do you figure out how to do good work when your situation is bad? Now, having said that, if you're having difficulties, you need to communicate with me clearly about them. Like I said, you need to figure out workarounds, but sometimes people are very limited in what they can do. So, in March, when classes were moved online, I had a student who had to go back to her home, which was in basically the middle of nowhere. She didn't have reliable internet access. When she did have it, finally, there was a storm, and then it knocked it out. So we had to figure out a way to help her keep up with the class. And we did figure out a way because she communicated with me. So, like I said, I have to have standards, but at the same time, when people are having real difficulties, I do want to work with people to help them. So please do communicate with me. Let me know what's going on if you're facing difficulties, especially technical difficulties that are preventing you from doing well in the class. One thing I also have to stress, check email often, right? Check email often. So there is a reasonably good chance at some point in the semester, I'll have to just say class is not meeting today in person. I may move it to online. I may say, I'm going to make a video later. I don't know. But I may wake up in the morning and say, I feel really sick. I don't know if this is just, it's flu season or maybe I have COVID. I got to go get tested. We can't have class in person. And I may not know that till like 7 a.m. So it's very important that you check email often, particularly before class. Because especially if you're a commuter, you don't want to come all the way to Lander and then find out that your one class today isn't meeting because I'm out getting tested because I think I might have COVID-19. So it's very important to check your email often. By often, I mean several times a day. That's our main way of communicating with people. If you don't do that, that's when things stack up. It's just better just to stay on top of it. All that being said, I think this is going to be a fun class. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you, or at least all of you who are comfortable coming to class. So take care. Enjoy the rest of your summer. Start working if you can. Let me know if you have any questions.